ดีครับMabuhay all my fans worldwide
Buhay!
โอเคครับสวัสดีนะคะวันนี้แขกพิเศษของโก้เนี่ยก็คือเป็น Miss Face of Humanity Philippines 2021คุณ Angeline May Santos นะคะ so all the fans worldwide thank you indeed for coming and watching my show tonight and my special guest tonight is a very brilliant lady. She represents Philippines in Miss Face of Humanity Philippines 2021, and she's going to compete in Toronto. In a short period of time, all right. So she got a very interesting life indeed. So I'm going to ask her a lot because I'm very excited to have her. Okay, she's a lady. I just hinting you, she's a lady, but what she has done, okay, in her life, she actually working in the middle of a male dominated world, okay, so it's very interesting, okay, she kind of iron lady is somehow. Okay, so Miss, my guest tonight, I'm honored to have you, Angeline May Santos from Philippines. Would you mind to introduce yourself to all the fans worldwide, please?
Hello everyone, sawadika, mabuhay! I am Angeline Santos, your Miss Face of Humanity Philippines 2021, and I'm really honored to be here today for KP1 Worldwide. Hello, Ko. Thank you for having me in this live interview. And everyone, I would like to introduce a little bit of myself. I am Angeline Santos. You can call me Angel for short. I am a licensed civil engineer here in the Philippines, and I have been an active advocate of gender equality for so many years already. And I'm really honored to be part of the Miss Face of Humanity Global Showcase because I am going to be there to use it as a platform to become someone who's going to raise the voice of women of all genders in all of humanity.
Okay, that's interesting indeed. So I'm going to touch on your life a little bit. So just have some fans to understand your background. Okay. So Angel. Okay, I'm going to call you Angel. Angel, you mentioned that you work in you actually a licensed civil engineer, and also I knew somehow you actually competing in pageantry before. So it's quite totally contrary. Okay. So tell me then, how you manage yourself to be in the very feminine world, okay, on the stage and in real life. You are a very strong lady in the field of construction. Okay.
Well, at first, I didn't really have that kind of passion to join beauty pageants before. But then, when I realized that beauty pageants is already transforming socially, it's already transforming society. It has been a platform for women to share their opinions, their voices. It also has been a platform for different social advocacies for each and every one of us. And jumping from the construction industry, which is the engineering industry, and being in the pageant world, it doesn't have any difference at all. Because there's both the pressure of being better, there's also the pressure of inputting what you know by heart. Because in the engineering industry, you're not just about doing technical stuff in the engineering aspect, but you are also giving out everything that you can to help providing the development of your country as well. So that is the difference or the thin line between engineering and beauty pageants, and that's why I have been grown fun into joining beauty pageants as well.
Right. Okay. Would you mind to tell me how many pageants have you been through, and might you name it?
Actually, there's lots already, but there's a few that most people knew that I've joined already. In year 2018, I became a candidate for Miss World Philippines 2018. And
Mm,
on year 2020, I became a part of the Miss Philippines Earth pageant, where I placed as a runner-up. And some of the other pageants that I have joined were local pageants here in the Philippines. And luckily, I was able to be part of the Miss Face of Humanity 2021.
Mm, that's very impressive indeed. Okay, so okay, all the fans, Angel impressed me a lot when I reached her out. She very welcome. Okay, and also she very ready to be open of her idea and share her advocacy and her perspective in life. So, all the fans, I'm going to start. Okay, are you ready? So, May, I would love to know indeed, according to your professions and also your advocacy, you're very passionate about gender equality and also anti gender-based violence. Okay,
Yes.
so might you relate your experience to your advocacy? Why you chose to promote this advocacy?
Even before the experiences that really gave me the passion, the fuel to impose this advocacy, I have been practicing gender equality activities even before. I am a gender and development focal person in my department. I have been doing talks about gender balance, gender mainstreaming, but then this one thing happened in my life that really turned my world upside down. Before, I did not realize that I will be one of those women who will experience gender-based violence. And most of the time, I have never think even I have never imagined that this thing will happen to me as well, because it is something that I talk about most of the time. It is something that I teach people to understand. And when this happened to me last 2020, it really gave me an eye-opening remark in my heart that gender-based violence is not something that we should overlook. It's not something that we people should take lightly. So I know that this person who gave me this kind of experience is not a bad person at all. That this is a disclaimer, because we don't want to destroy any person's name. We don't want to discredit anyone. So when this happened to me, I was in a beautiful relationship, and some things stirred the pot between our relationship at the time because of the coronavirus pandemic. Most of us
Mm,
have been affected by this pandemic. It all affected us financially, emotionally, and
mm,
there's lots of things that made us mentally unstable. So this person abused me at the time. He
mm,
physically abused me.
mm,
And that's when I realized that us women, we are indeed weak, not physically, not mentally. We are weak because our hearts are pure and filled with compassion. And because of that, we sometimes allow these people to destroy us or hurt us. And because
mm,
of that, I'm going to use this opportunity, the platform of the Mistakes of Humanity, to share to all over the world that gender-based violence is real. It is happening all over the world. It's happening, it may be happening to someone right now. And we should
mm,
open our eyes and become someone who realizes that we should be an understanding human being, because someone you have seen, someone who passed through your life may be experiencing bad things in their lives as well. So
mm,
my takeaway in this kind of experience is that gender shouldn't define who you are. Gender
mm,
shouldn't define your capabilities as a human being. You have Each and every one of us have our own unique abilities, and our gender doesn't even have the slightest way to define us as a whole person. What we needed to understand is that each and every one have the ability to understand, the ability to love one another, and that is where humanity comes from. When you say humanity, you have the ability to love, to share your
mm,
understanding, to become patient, and to be someone who has an overpowering joy in
mm,
nurturing not just humanity, but also of all living things, of all the things that is created by God.
mm. Okay, so I think I would love to get some of your advice, Angel. I think the hardest part for some victim, like they never realize that they actually were victim. Okay, so right, so that's why they tend to be very compromising to all negative situations, and they tend to stay okay in the in the restrictive zone that manipulated by some perpetrator. So as you've been through this kind of experience, um might you share some thought that when would you realize that it's not right to stay in that abusive relationship? What actually was a wake up call? Okay, so other lady would get reminded when it's happened to her.
Mhm. Okay, so the main thing that one person should look into when they're being abused, whether you're a woman or a man or a part of the third sex, you have to understand that when you are in a relationship, you would know that someone is abusing you if you don't feel comfortable with the things that they are doing with you. That is one thing. You have the right to say no to the things that
Mm,
they wanted to do.
mm,
And if that person doesn't understand the word no, or they don't know what your boundaries are, then that relationship may be or may lead to becoming an abusive one. Because
mm,
it all starts with a word, it all starts with verbal abuse. And then
mm,
when it comes to a triggering point, then that's time that it becomes a physical abuse. Because sometimes our anger gets bottled up, and sometimes we allow people to become to use us as their targets of their emotions. And that's the point where they become abusive physically. But
mm,
then we have to understand that we shouldn't let these people lead us to that point where they physically abuse us. It is
mm,
important that we know that when somebody is mentally abusing us already, then it is
mm,
time to stop because real love doesn't hurt. When
mm,
you say love, when you love somebody, you
mm,
won't hurt them. It's fine if you disappoint them. It's fine if you sometimes do wrong things. But
mm,
real love doesn't make you feel unsecured. Real love doesn't make you feel uncomfortable. And that I think is what should people should look upon when they are in a relationship.
right. That's very strong. Okay, reminder from Angel. And Angel, um, would you like to what would you like to say to like to give different ideas to some victim that they might get confused, like someone that they love but abuse them. Okay, tend to be kind of temperamental. Okay, like saying one day I love you. Okay, and I do this, do that, even though I harm to you. That's because of I love you. Okay, and it's all from my well intent. Okay, that's sometimes I couldn't control, but I do love you. So the victim tend to be confused then, like if we leave the relationship or we stay, because they mention a lot of love. Okay, but in practicality, there are many part of interaction that involving abuse. So if someone's watching you now and listening to you and have been in that, like paradoxical situation, being manipulated by the perpetrator or that abusive partner. So what would you like to recommend the victim then?
Actually, I was at that point where I believed most of the words of the person who abused me. And I was someone who is really forgiving. I don't like taking grudges on people who have done something on me. So it's really hard to really see through those things. And what that thing is called is gaslighting. You call that gaslighting. People who gaslight you. They make you realize that what they're doing is okay and you are at fault. And you are the reason why they're doing bad things at you. You have all of you who are watching tonight, you have to take a look on those things. It is never okay to justify someone's bad action towards you and blame yourself for it from happening. It's never okay to be gaslighted. So you have to understand that gaslighting people, they're egocentric, number one. They only
Mm,
focuses on themselves. When you
mm,
feel sad or you feel disappointed by their actions, they will turn it around upon you and they will tell you that you're the reason why I'm acting like this. So that is one
mm,
thing that we should look upon when we're being in an abusive relationship.
mm, mm. Angel, I really I really love your answer because it's very poignant and it's realistic. Okay, mind you, if I would love to translate, okay, to Thai, because it's happened a lot in the society, especially for the lady, that they got confused because of a word of love. Okay. Mm-hmm. Soคือ
Yes,
อย่างนี้นะคะ
true.
อืมก็ขอแปลเนาะคือคุณแองเจลนะคะนะเป็นผู้หญิงที่ฉลาดนะเดี๋ยวก็บอกก่อนว่าคุณแองเจลเมย์ซันโตสคือชื่อเต็มนะคะของMiss Face of Humanity ฟิลิปปินส์นะคะตัวแทนฟิลิปปินส์ปีนี้คราวนี้คุณคุณแองเจลเนี่ยแองเจลีนเนาะชื่อเต็มคือแองเจลีนเมย์ซันโตสนะแต่ว่าก็คือเรียกชื่อเล่นคือคุณแองเจลเนี่ยก็คือพื้นฐานเลยนะคะเป็นวิศวกรโยธาโดยอาชีพนะครับแล้วก็ได้รับใบอนุญาตนะถูกต้องนะครับก่อสร้างนะแล้วก็เป็นนางงามประกวดแล้วเป็นคนที่ประกวดเยอะมากนะครับแล้วก็ล่าสุดเนี่ยก็เป็นรองมิสเอิร์ธนะครับฟิลิปปินส์นะครับคราวนี้เนี่ย advocacy ของคุณแองเจลเนี่ยนะครับก็คือ gender equality นะครับก็คือความเท่าเทียมทางเพศนะครับแล้วก็ gender based violence คือ anti นะก็คือต่อต้านความรุนแรงทางเพศทุกประการนะครับคราวนี้เนี่ยมี point สำคัญที่เมื่อกี้ก็ถามทางคุณแองเจลนะบอกว่าคือคุณแองเจลเนี่ยเคยผ่านประสบการณ์การมีสัมพันธภาพนะคะความรักที่ค่อนข้างไม่ค่อยโอเคเท่าไหร่นะคะคือ abusive นะก็คือว่าabusive ก็คือแบบไม่ค่อยดีนะอาจจะมีการทำร้ายจิตใจอะไรอย่างเงี้ยนะครับแบบว่าไม่ค่อย healthy คราวนี้เนี่ยก็เลยถามแกบอกว่าแกพูดหลายจุดแต่ point สำคัญก็ถามว่าถ้าสมมุติมีคนฟังคืนนี้เนาะผู้หญิงหรือว่าไม่ต้องผู้หญิงก็ได้ทุกเพศคุณแองเจลพูดนะทุกเพศถ้าฟังอยู่เนี่ยก็บอกว่าจะทำยังไงถ้าสมมุติบางทีเนี่ยคนที่เป็นเหยื่อเนี่ยไม่รู้ตัวว่าตัวเองเป็นเหยื่อเข้าใจไหมครับก็คือว่าแบบโดน abuse ตลอดเนี่ยแต่ไม่รู้อะว่าคือคิดว่าสิ่งที่เขาทำอย่างเช่นตบตีด่าคิดว่าเขารักนึกออกไหมถึงทนอยู่คราวนี้คุณแอนเจลพูดว่าใช่มันคล้ายๆมันทำให้เกิดความเคยชินทำให้เหยื่อไม่รู้สึกตัวแต่ว่าคุณแอนเจลบอกว่าไม่ได้นะเราต้องมีแบบคล้ายๆว่ามีเกียรติของตัวเราแล้วเราต้องแบบมีพอยต์ว่าเฮ้ยมิชคุกคิดว่าถ้าเขารักเราเขาก็ต้องไม่ทำร้ายเราสิอย่าเอาคำว่ารักมาเป็นข้ออ้างเขาต้องให้เกียรติเรานึกออกไหมครับอันนี้หนึ่งนะแล้วคราวนี้เนี่ยก็เลยพูดบอกว่าแล้วคุณแองเจล บางคนน่ะที่มีพาร์ทเนอร์คืออย่างนี้เหมือนตบไปรักไปนึกออกไหมครับประเคนแข้งไปแต่ปากก็บอกว่ารักเธออย่าไปจากฉันนะฉันรักแต่ตบทุกวันตีทุกวันหรือไม่ก็คืออย่างเช่นด่าว่าเนี่ยฉันทำอย่างเงี้ยเพราะฉันต้องการให้เธอได้ดีฉันรักเธอนะจะมีใครดีกว่าฉันอีกไหมอย่างนั้นอย่างนี้บูลลี่ไปอีกนะคะคราวนี้ทำให้เหยื่อเกิดความสับสนไงว่าตกลงว่าควรจะออกจากความสัมพันธ์อันนี้ดีไหมควรจะเลิกคบคนนี้ดีไหมเออมันท็อกซิกไหมเนี่ยเพราะว่าปากมันก็บอกว่ามันรักเรามันหวังดีกับเราแต่ในการกระทำเดี๋ยวด่าเดี๋ยวเอาเปรียบเดี๋ยวแทงข้างหลังอะไรมากมายใช่ไหมคะคราวนี้พอยต์สำคัญคุณแองเจลบอกฉันผ่านจุดนั้นมาแล้วฉันขอพูดเลยว่าคือเราเนี่ยเป็นเหยื่อใช่ไหมเราต้องตาสว่างคือเขาเรียกคำว่า gas light นะก็คือว่าคนที่เป็นผู้กระทำเนี่ยคือจะพยายามแบบเหมือนสร้างมายานะคะสร้างมายาให้กับเหยื่อเนี่ยคิดว่าไอการที่เขาด่าทอตบตีแล้วก็แฝงมาด้วยมีคำตบท้ายว่ารักนะหวังดีฉันดีที่สุดแล้วไม่มีใครดีกว่าฉันแล้วกับเธออย่างเงี้ยคือมันเป็นการแก๊สไลฟ์ก็คือเหมือนสร้างมายาหลอนเนี่ยนึกออกไหมให้เหยื่อเนี่ยคือแบบอ่อนแอใช่ไหมแล้วก็อยู่ในความสัมพันธ์นั้นไปตลอดคราวนี้เนี่ยคุณแองเจลนะก็บอกว่าไม่ได้มันไม่ใช่และอยากให้รู้ว่าคนที่มีอาการกระทำแบบแก๊สไลท์เนี่ยนะคะคือชอบแบบเขาเรียกว่าอะไรชอบไซโคคนก็อยากจะบอกว่าคนประเภทนี้เราต้องออกมาเลยเพราะว่าคนประเภทนี้เขาจะหลงตัวเองและคือจะเอาตัวเองเป็นศูนย์กลางของจักรวาลโอเคไหมครับทุกคนเลวหมดทุกคนชั่วหมดทุกคนไม่มีใครดีเลยฉันดีคนเดียวฉัน the best เพราะฉะนั้นไอสิ่งที่ฉันทำไม่ว่าฉันจะด่าคุณบูลลี่คุณแทงคุณเอาคุณไปด่าคนเอาคุณไปด่ารับหลังได้ไหมอย่างนั้นอย่างนี้หรือตบตีใช่ไหมครับคือเหล่านี้เนี่ยคือเราดูการกระทำเป็นหลักคุณแองเจลบอกว่าคือมันแบดนะมันเลวร้ายก็ต้องออกมาอย่างเดียวโอเคไหมครับไม่ต้องไปสนใจว่าเขาจะเอาคำว่าเพราะรักนะเพราะหวังดีนะอยากให้เจริญนะเขาถึงต้องทำอย่างนี้ no คือถ้าสมมุติหวังดีรักจริงเขาก็ต้อง understanding นะครับนะแล้วก็พูดดีนะครับนะสนับสนุนส่งเสริมเราไปตลอดนะครับไม่ใช่3วันดี4วันไข้ดีบ้างเช้าดีตกเย็นเปลี่ยนนะกลับไปกลับมาทำให้เหยื่อสับสนเพราะฉะนั้นเนี่ยคุณแองเจลผ่านตรงนั้นมาคุณแองเจลบอกไม่ได้ให้ออกมาเลยโอเคไหมครับนะตรงนี้นะสำคัญมากๆเลย so Angel if someone wouldn't realize that where should they get some help do you have like hotline or any foundation that especially in Philippines that some victim would reach out for help
Actually, in the Philippines, we already have a women's health desk. And during the coronavirus pandemic, wherein most of the cases of gender-based violence at home has increased, there has been hotlines, which is or Facebook pages that women can reach out, which is the Philippine Women Association, and we have to be aware as women to as to where we can reach out at those times, especially in different countries, because we have different ways to reach out for these kinds of talks.
Right. So I think your advocacy actually very pronounced on the world level as well. Okay. So I would love to know what your perspective on this issue. Okay, on the world level, comparable to your own one in Philippines.
Mhm. I'm sorry.
Yes, I said that your advocacy, like anti gender-based violence, is actually the big issue, okay, on the world level as well. Okay, so I would love you to show your vision, okay, on this issue. How do you perceive this problem on the world level comparable to that happening in Philippines?
Here in the Philippines, there's a lot of movement that is already um, doing to help eradicate or lessen gender-based violence. And this is through social media awareness and
Mm,
some of the things that we need to know here in the Philippines, as we are in quarantine, most of the places here are already on already are going back to normal. Well,
Mm,
people is still is relying in the internet. So the best way that we can do here in the Philippines to spread awareness about
mm,
gender-based violence is via social media accounts. And there's lots of active groups, women activist groups who are trying to do their best to spread awareness. Like for example, here in the Philippines, we have gender and development. And with the gender and
mm,
development, we are not just focusing on these kinds of social issues or gender-based violence. We are doing it on a whole spectrum of gender and development.
right. Okay. So, May, not May, sorry, Angel. Um, about, um, okay, it's going to be very controversial, okay, and question, okay. But I would love to know, many people in the world realize that Philippines disallowed divorce, okay. So it's going to be really hard for a lady or a wife who being in the in the abusive household. So as yourself as a representative of Philippines, I would love to know your idea about this issue. Would you agree to propose like a legal um, permission for divorced? Especially a woman or a wife can initiate the movement, the motion.
Actually, here that's true. Here, with what you said, it's really a big issue here in the Philippines because it's a Christian country, it's a Catholic country. So many of the religious groups are against divorce bill, and the only way uh, that a marriage can be broken upon here in the country is through annulment, which is a very long process and it's kind of costly. So I think as
Mm,
someone who is a voice of gender, a voice
mm,
of gender-based violence, I totally
mm,
agree with the divorce. Not just
mm,
because of religious belief. It's not just about religious belief. We are talking about humanity. We are talking about people who are stuck in a situation that they don't want to be in. Because
mm,
sometimes there are marriages that are fixed, there are marriages that are forced upon, there are marriages that are done out of the will of the person who is getting married.
mm,
And I think that this divorce bill is important here, or is something that we should have here in our country. But there's a lot of things that we have to look upon when this kind of law is going to be passed here in my country. Like for example, it has to be more specific. Like for example, someone is only allowed to have a divorce, to file for a divorce if they are a victim of gender-based violence. Number one, or if
mm,
someone in the relationship is mentally incapacitated already. So that is those two things that I think it's important to take note when they pass the divorce bill here in our country.
right. So, Angel, I'm Thai, and divorce is quite, at free will. Okay, either on either end of the relationship. So, how far has it been going in Philippines? Is there any chance so soon that a permission for divorce will become materialized?
I think there has been already discussions for the divorce bill here in the country to be materialized already. But there's a lot of things that they're trying to take note as this country is really conservative in terms of marriage.
Mm, mm. So, Um, would you feel fear to lose your fans base because of your advocacy? Yet, because you Philippines, And Philippines very conservative, especially some issue based on religion. Okay, and definitely staying in abusive relationship is tremendously related to marriage. Okay, so I mean,
Yes.
if you have a power, okay, you can speak a very loud voice that anyone can listen to you. So what kind of proposal that you would like to mitigate, okay, the possibility of greater abusive relationship to happen if without a permission for divorce um, to become reality so soon.
So first, um, we shouldn't go or move forward right away on the solution. We have to take a look on the root or the causes of such events or such gender-based violence events. The first thing that we need to do before we go through with the divorce bill is to create an awareness throughout the society that it is important to respect each and everyone's boundaries. That is number one. And I think it is through media media awareness. We should take a look on everything that we can do to spread awareness about gender-based violence. We have to understand that men and women may not be equal or in all fairness, we are not equal in all aspects because we're all different. We all have different abilities. But we
Mm,
have to understand that despite or regardless of what gender you are, you have to know how to respect our differences. And that I think is the best thing that we should understand first before we go through with mitigating or promoting different kinds of laws to eradicate such events like gender-based violence. We have to create an awareness.
okay. So, Angel, some already, even in Thailand, some mentioned that raising awareness is kind of cliche, and it wouldn't, create as much effectiveness. Okay, or why don't we go for education instead, like to make it, basic. Everyone should know, everyone should learn in the school. Okay, so I mean, they would realize their value at the beginning. So when some people, okay, just start going against raising awareness, and they tend to go to education instead. What do you think? I would love to know your opinion.
I think what you've said is really good. It is best if we put it in through education because through awareness, some people wouldn't even listen to that kind of awareness sometimes. Most people
Mm.
will look at it blindly, but with education, they would know that it is important to learn that thing. So as we impose these kinds of issues in our education system, we're also creating youth that are more aware of self-respect for everyone, for differences, and for gender.
Mm, okay, that's nice. That's nice indeed. And also, this issue also related to gender-based violence somehow. Okay. Um, in your personal view, okay, would you support like a legal abortion in Philippines?
This is something that is really a big issue in the Philippines. It's quite sensitive, legalizing abortion. I think it can be legalized in a different view. Like for example, it shouldn't be legalized if you just want to abortion something you
Mm,
have.
mm,
It's not something that you don't abort a child we
mm,
just out of the blue. It should be
mm,
due to a cause of sexual abuse, if it's a root of sexual abuse, or if it's concerning the health of the woman who is pregnant. Then that's the time that abortion should be legalized.
Mm, mm. So, like, you would like to give more, alternative to people. Like, if some severe case, if they feel that it's really hard, and to make life going on. So, you prefer to give them choice, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's nice. That's nice. So also, if it's true, okay, there's some finding from United Nations, okay, relating to Philippines, during about some situations under COVID-19 in Philippines, that there's a big disparity, okay, among genders for receive medical treatment. So, would you agree on this finding?
Actually, that's not true at all. Here in the Philippines, everyone is allowed to, is given equal medical attention, regardless if you're a man and a woman. So I don't see it happening here in the Philippines right now. There's no such thing as gender disparity in terms of medical attention.
Okay. So also, about freedom of speech in Philippines. So, would you think that it's one of the world human right cause? Okay, so would you think that the level of freedom of speech in Philippines is acceptable, enough, comparable to those on the world level?
Well, I can say on a percentage level, here in the Philippines, the freedom of speech is about 80%. Because
Mm,
all of us have the opportunity to speak about our thoughts, our opinions
mm,
on a different
mm,
level here in the Philippines through social
mm,
media, through our own accounts, through
mm,
media as well. But
mm,
what I've seen, I know this may be a little bit sensitive, but a little bit part of the percentage, some of the people who are voicing out their opinions are getting a little bit hampered, especially if it
mm,
talks about the government. Well, I think
mm,
that the best thing that we can do to alleviate this kind of situations, kind of problems in terms of freedom of speech is to vote for the right people because it's the election period here in the Philippines is coming through. So we have to think before we vote. We
mm.
have to study the people who are running for, during these elections, and we have to be more mindful of who we're gonna vote in future because here in the Philippines, it is important. We are a democratic country. We have the right to vote who's going to lead in the future.
Right. Okay. So, the world, including me, realize that Filipina is a very strongly opinionate, okay, very confident guy, okay. So, they always show their vision, okay. And I would like to know, okay, for the last few years on the world level, there's quite controversy about your country on many issues regarding to humanity, okay, and human rights, especially drug war, okay, and uh, political harassment, death penalty, okay. So I would love to know your stance on each issue.
Then again, this coming election, we all have to be mindful who we're gonna vote in the future. Because as a
Mm,
democratic country, we all have the power as citizens here in the Philippines to vote who is the rightful people for the positions. So those kind of human rights will be eradicated.
mm, okay, right. So, would you agree about the reinstatement of death penalty?
Again, I'm so sorry. Reinstatement of.
Would you, would you agree about the reinstatement of death penalty in Philippines?
I don't fully agree with the reinstatement of that penalty here in the Philippines because for one, I believe in giving people a second chance. Us human beings are created as complex beings. We have a
Mm,
complex mind, and we all know that we tend to do wrong things, but given another chance or given an opportunity to be understood by others, we can change for the better. If there's no change by by the chance that we have been given, then that's the time that the people around us would know that we needed support mentally. So that
mm,
is my stand about that panel.
okay. So you wouldn't like be bored of this idea, okay? Because you believe that every people deserve second chance, okay? That's a good idea. But what about if the perpetrator, okay, have done something very wrong towards a child, okay, such as rape, okay, and child molestation, pedophilia, okay, pedophilia. So, would you still give them a second chance?
Well, I guess it's not about giving them second chance. I don't want them to face that penalty because you're cutting off their life already. You're not giving them time to think about all of the wrong things that they've done. I think it's much better to give them more jail time, to give them more
Mm,
realization, to give them more suffering about what are the bad things they've done in their life. So I don't think death penalty is still a good idea because you're cutting off their lives already. You're not giving them
mm,
time to repent their sins. So it's best
mm,
to give them more jail time, to give them more community service work, and with that, you're not just creating a society where you're just killing someone for the bad things that they did. You're also
mm,
creating a society where you allow people to learn, to understand the wrongdoings they have committed.
mm. Mm, okay. So I think most of people, especially the free mind thinker, probably would go after you as well about your choice because longer jail time makes make us more suffering. Okay, because everyone just love independent and freedom. When you lose your freedom and independence, it's really hurt. Okay, you lose a lot of opportunity in life. So I do agree with Angel. Okay, I do agree indeed. And also Angel, um, I really wonder. Okay, come back to your profession. You are a civil engineer. So, what area, okay, in your profession have you mainly dealing with? You have to go on site, or you mainly stay in the convention room and have a lot of meeting during day.
Actually, I go both in the office and in the site, and most of my project focuses on expressway toll road projects.
Mm,
My office focuses on those things, and I think this kind of projects give an opportunity to become or to give our country, the Philippines, more development because we're creating more road networks. When you create more road networks in the country, you're also creating connectivity to different parts. Like for example, here in the Philippines, it is an archipelagic country. We have different 7,107 islands. So creating road networks is allowing development in our country. So my project as a civil engineer is really great in helping the future of the Philippines.
okay, so in your profession, what would you see um, the inequality, okay, between gender. So, and what change in that, disadvantage that you would like to propose for a change?
well, actually, in the male-dominated industry, I don't want to call it a male-dominated industry now because a lots of engineering women are already dominating the engineering industry. But then I did see a lot of gender disparity in the engineering industry. But then again, here in the Philippines, we have already allocated 1% of our budget in the gender and development, which
Mm,
help create a community, especially in the engineering industry, to create a balance between men and women who are entering engineering offices. So I think it's a great step already here in the Philippines that we are creating a gender balanced community.
mm. So, all the fans, I would love to mention a little bit because I'm very relatable to what she did or what she doing in life. Okay, because I got a construction background. Okay, so I work closely with a civil engineer all the time. Okay, and inspector. So I would love to know, Angel. Okay, as a civil engineer and
Wow.
as a lady as well. Okay, we all know when you go on construction sites, they always have problem 24 hours a day. Okay, and so when that problem arise, for you, would you tend to be more realist or theorist? Okay, in solving the problem and make all the work progress in time, because we
Well,
all, in construction we have constraint by time. Okay, everything is have to be made in time, on time.
yes. Well, I can say that I am a total realist because as much as possible, I take a look on the people who's working in the industry or in the site. Because if we take a look or we manage to give people who are working on site some time or some kind of understanding as to what causes the delay, you're also giving them more time to be more creative as to how they're gonna work on the project delays. So it is better, regardless if it's in the construction or in any kind of organization, it is better that you first understand what is happening with the people who are inside of the community. Because once you've given them the opportunity or you've given yourself the opportunity to take a look on those people, on what is happening around the community, you're also giving your project a more increase in the development, or you're also creating a better or harmonious community. And with an harmonious community or organization, you're also creating a beautiful project. So I guess it's not just about being realistic in terms of um, approaching problems in the construction industry, but it is also about the people who's working inside. Because if you give them love, you give them passion, if you give them inspiration, you're also giving them a chance to build something beautiful.
mm, okay, so that's nice indeed. And also, what do you think in construction field? Then definitely more men than women, especially in civil engineer field. Okay, that's from my experience in Thailand. Almost 90% or 80% in civil engineer are male. Okay, but if in
Yes.
environmental engineer, it tend to be more ladies than male. Okay, so I would love you to give some picture if it's happened to you, like you are ladies, okay, and being working among men, and then suddenly all the men appreciate your beauty, okay, and appreciate your feminine look, a sort of, and they try to please you and treat you really well, okay. So would you accept that treatment, or would you like, I'm fine, I can do anything, okay, leave me alone, let me manage it, okay. Even though I'm a woman, I can stand my ground and I will do my work, okay, equally as you do. So which way would you go for when they try to treat you like a soft power instead of a real power?
Well, for me, when I'm in the working place, I really do give my stand as to what I can do. and what I cannot do. And I'm lucky that most of my colleagues treat me as equal, and they have seen my capabilities and what are those things that I cannot do. So I think that in our office we are doing some great teamwork. Regardless if you're a man or a woman, you're given equal amounts of opportunity to participate or to perform your task in your own way. So that is what is happening in my organization. I don't know what that is happening on others, but that is what we do in my office. So I'm really lucky that I have already established that notion that I'm capable as well as a woman. I already have
Mm,
my master's in
mm,
I'm already finishing my master's degree in construction management. So I guess I
mm.
have a fair share of knowledge that I can give to this man as well.
Okay. So about equal pay. So in some region in the world, okay, there's some issue about inequality of pay between gender. So some, some culture that even though you're a civil engineer, but you a lady, and in some part of job require physical, a lot of physical effort, like when you're going to inspect a wall, especially exterior wall, you have to go on, you have to climb on the gondola, okay, outside the building, go on the high level. That's very life threatening, and not every lady engineer would go up, but not because they wouldn't. Okay, male tend to treat them. Okay, we just go on. Okay, you just stay. And when you mention about pay, some disagreement about equal pay between men and women tend to say that because you wouldn't be able to do exactly the same amount of job as we do. So, what do you think if someone counter the equal pay between male and female in the male-dominated world?
Well, in the Philippines, gender disparity in terms of their salary is not of our salary is not happening at all. And well, it is already in the people inside the organization's um, decision if the work is gonna be balanced or not. So it is already in that organization's ability to create a balance in terms of workload. So in the Philippines, I'm lucky that we don't have that kind of issue, which is the gender pay disparity. And I think that's really beautiful here in the Philippines that we are able to create that kind of workspace wherein men and women can do tasks that they have the ability to do so and still get the same amount of salary.
Mm, okay. So, what about the dress code? Okay, we are living in the world that's going to have increasingly, okay, more of LGBTQ populations, okay, in the next decade or century. So in the civil engineer, okay, if you not dress with like a formal, okay, a formal shirt, you might dress according to your gender. So what about LGBTQ, like trans men or trans women? So would you agree that they should be allowed, okay, universally to dress according to their sexuality as a civil engineer, okay, as a
Well, I
civil
guess
engineer?
on yes, as a civil engineer. Well, for civil engineers here in the Philippines, we only wear one thing: shirt, pants, safety shoes, your vest. So I
Mm,
don't see any problem with trans women or trans men wearing the way they wanted to be they wanted to be portrayed on. I don't see any
mm,
problem with trans women wearing clothes as women because For me, these trans women are already women, trans men are already men.
Okay. So, would you support same-sex marriage, even though it wouldn't happen in Philippines yet? Would you support it or not?
Yes, I do. I would support it.
Okay, that's really nice. You give a lot of strong message tonight throughout the interview. I think it's very hard indeed in my interview. I can tell you, but you can handle it. Okay, I really admire. I really admire indeed. And also, a lot of fans. Okay, I made the comments. Okay, go Philippines for the win. Okay, you very pretty, and also some Thai fans. Okay, this lady, some Thai
Thank
fans,
you.
she's you very beautiful, okay, very pretty. I love you, okay. This a celebrity
Thank you.
chef, she's very famous chef, okay, and also Mr. Dude Eduardo. Okay, he is very prominent teaching figure in Indonesia, but he actually is a
Yes,
Filipino and
yes.
he can pray as well. He dropped by, okay, and said hi to you. Okay, you're doing good, all right, and so you can see a lot of comments behind you. So, lastly, what would you like to say as a Miss Face of Miss Face of Humanity Philippines when you're going to present Philippines in the contest and on the stage that everyone worldwide going to listen to you?
Okay. First and foremost, I would like to thank everyone in the Philippines who have given me this chance to represent our country in the Miss Face of Humanity Global Showcase. And now, with this opportunity that you have given me, I will use this opportunity to use this as a platform for my voice to
Mm,
help and promote gender equality. And with
mm,
that, I am given this opportunity to be more of someone who promotes, rather, gives more people the understanding that us, human beings, to be
mm,
able to collaborate, to be able to have a harmonious world, we all
mm,
have to live in a world with respect and understanding for for our differences in beliefs and cultural knowledge and cultural heritage. And with that, as a Miss Face of Humanity Philippines, I would like to spread awareness that us, human beings, regardless of gender, age, culture, race, skin color, we're all capable of doing something great. And that is the ability to give compassion and love for one another. And that is my message for all of you. Kapun ka.
mm. Okay, so I think this lady is your big fans. Would you mind to shout out her name? Her name is on the screen, Kishi and M Lady.
Hi, Kishi and Lady. Thank you for watching this live interview. I really love all of the people who are watching right now. I am really grateful for your efforts in commenting and watching this live interview. And I'm really
Mm,
happy if all of those Thai people who are watching tonight. I'm really ecstatic that I've been able to have this live interview with you because I really love Thailand. I've been in Thailand last 2019 before the coronavirus pandemic and I really enjoyed the food of Thailand. I really love Thai milk tea, by the way.
mm. And you know what? A lot of people in Thailand love Philippines as well, and also they tend to believe that okay,
Yes.
admin cook of KP1 Roa is actually the face of Philippines.
Yes, yes.
So a lot of fans, okay, love Pine. Okay, I love beauty queen from Philippines, and they would love to listen what Filipina are going to say because they tend to be very strong in their standpoint and try to always give opinion in every issue that they could. And also, lastly, would you mind to say something nice about me and promote my program to all your fans and many listener in Philippines now?
Hello, mabuhay everyone. And for all of my fans who are watching tonight, I would like you definitely to follow the Instagram account of the ever great Kop Hanasa. And also do follow KT1 Worldwide Facebook page. Okay, once again, please do follow KT1 Worldwide Facebook page and the Instagram account of @Kopanasa. And I am really honored to be in this live interview today. Thank you so much po for having me. I really enjoyed this interview. It's really an eye opener, not just for me, but also for those who are watching tonight.
Oh, thank you indeed for all the fans. I so enjoyable. Okay, by talking with Angeline May Santos, she's very intelligent, and I love her. Because of her assertiveness.
Me
She
too.
very sure. She very sure on what she talking. Okay, and I can tell that everything she talking is something that she going to do. Okay, it's not she's not like a talker, but she actually a practitioner. Okay, so I wish you going to do really well on the stage in the name of Philippines, and for all the fans worldwide, please give her a big support. Angeline May Santos from, I think, are you from Quezon City?
I did represented Quezon City, and but then I am the person of the Philippines. So I am the person of the Philippines as a whole, and I represent most of my country, and I'm really proud as a Filipina to represent all of the Filipinos.
Okay, okay. That she conclude for me. All right, that's really nice indeed, and she very capable lady. So all the fans, please follow Angeline May Santos. She represents Philippines as a Miss Face of Humanity Philippines 2021, and she going to compete in Miss Face of Humanity in Toronto soon. All right, in couple of months, is it? In April, is it? Is this going to
Sorry.
happen in April or in March? The coronation night?
The coronation night will happen on April 2, 2022 in Toronto, Canada.
Okay. So all the fans, please support her along the way. Okay. We still got almost 4 months. Okay, to follow her journey and give her big support. And all the fans, please follow and like. Okay, her IG. ENGR. Santos, and you will find a lot of her advocacy, a lot of nice picture, and as far as I follow her, she very articulate and she very open to conversations. So I think you can message her and give her some topic, and I think she very ready to answer all the question. Am I correct, May? Am I correct,
Yes.
Angel?
Yes, definitely, po. I am really ready to face all of humanity in Toronto, Canada this April.
Okay, thank you indeed for all the fans. Thank you for a big support tonight. And also, Angeline, I would love to tell you that the maximum live audience that's watching you tonight is almost 500. Okay.
Wow.
So you're deserving, okay? You're deserving. So I probably would love to bring some comments from fans that I'm very certain that you deserve this comment. Very talented. You're very talented, okay? And I would love to shout out my support to Angeline, May Santos. So all the fans tonight, thank you indeed for all of your participation from worldwide. Thank you, Indonesian fans. Aaron, you come as the first in the program. Thai fans and definitely Filipinos worldwide and in Canada also. Okay, the organization, anyone, Indonesian and anyone who support my program, please support Angeline May Santos for her journey. And thank you indeed. Have a good night. Um,
Thank
ไป
you
ก่อน
so
นะครับ
much,
สวัสดีครับ
Kapunka.
สลามั
Thank
ต
you,
โก
mabuhay
เตลิ
everyone.
มาบัญ
Stay
ญัก
home.
เค
Thank you
ซิ
so
บัญ
much.
ญักขอบคุณมากครับ